my god. It has been a while, guys. Sorry about that. I'm a terrible, I guess. Oh, shoot. Oh, wait, can I see stuff? Hold up. Here. Mementos. Wow. Alright, I'm gonna read these after, I guess. What's this? I hope that's loud enough for y'all. Maybe. Yeah, who cares? Who cares? Y'all have this. Y'all are... Yeah, y'all are done. Y'all are fine. Y'all are fine. Achievements? Nothing. Okay. If I remember correctly, in the last part... Hi everyone. Mind you, he's walking around in his undies. Ba. Ah. The Minotaur dreams, snapshots around him shifting back and forth. Who's this? Whoa. Sun beating on his back, fur was always damp from wearing hoodies, a stream of sweat running down his brow. Dry clay caked his fabric. He smelled sour. Soft cloth over his blossoming horns, some shade over his eyes, tail tucked inside his horns. His shorts, what the fuck? Soft tail tucked inside his shorts. Sorry. I feel like I get like... Oh my god, I'm like talking during this. The Minotaur dreams, snapshots around him shifting back and forth. Another guy? What? Sun beating on his back, fur was always damp from wearing hoodies. A stream of sweat running down his brow. Dry clay caked the fabric. He smelled sour. Soft cloth over his blossoming horns, some shade over his eyes, tail tucked inside his shorts. Then torn hoodies when his horns couldn't be hidden anymore. Bruises before class hidden underneath black fur. Then an hour or two of numbers, cold, gentle little blocks. He was holding a pencil now, no more than an inch long, after being used to its end. He wrote the numbers down with love, each 7 crossed over in the middle, Symmetrical rows of 6s and 9s, a perfect curve for each 2. It took him a while, but he mastered the 8. The 2 bubbles had to be mirrored, then class is over. Years later, syntax and grammar, verbs, adjectives, nouns. Approach the delicate woman, the teacher said. Cross the unwearying sea. Sentences stretched on and on. Neat little bricks. Hollow-hooved bull, he said. Snickers. The boy disliked these words. Then came interpretations, texts. He liked the stories, but the rules of his mind were different from those of the books he held dear. History and geography were puzzling. Too soft and pliable, they escaped through his little fingers. Little, my bad. They're huge. Jesus. Philosophy was fine, as long as it was close to mathematics, but biology was an insult. Bruises after failing biology, punished for punching back, made to wear corks at school, stopped school, but kept the numbers and all the little bricks he could carry. Walking to the store with Mom, men sneer and split insult. Split? Oh my god, guys, I am terribly sorry. Men sneer and spit insults at them. Pretends he doesn't know what the word zoophile means. I have an idea. Wow. Wait, how do you birth a bull? She pulls his arm. Maybe this time she'll dislocate it. She never said who his father is. Maybe she doesn't know, but he's human. She assures him between drags of cigarette smoke. What the heck? There is a kindness in family. They are the only people who see fit to ignore him. But that's not enough. Ran away, spent a time in the wilderness, then the city, looked for a job, returned home. Tried again, this time stole enough money to get to the bus someplace farther away. Slept under a bridge, always during the day. Night hides his horns and muzzle. The aisle empties when he goes to the store. He asks to leave the burger joint with a note on the bag to not eat in. Good enough for his stolen money, but not for his presence. Fail, try again, fail worse, go home. Ah, howdy there. Did I disturb you? Even before his consciousness awakens, the Minotaur has already planted his hooves on the soil and pushed himself deeper into the alcove. His ears flicker, eyes leap around until they focus on the man blocking the sun. He can't catch any features, and in fact, an itch at the back of his head makes it impossible to tell what he's looking at. Words cross his mind, his lips tighten. Is the man talking to him, or is there someone else just out of sight? Maybe the Minotaur thinks he hasn't seen me. He parts his lips and draws a breath, slow through his teeth to not make a sound. I come at a bad time, didn't I? I'm awfully sorry to bother you. But I was passing by, came here to sort a personal issue, and a family friend made it a point that I should meet you. The man takes a notepad from his back pocket. Each page flip is accompanied by a crisp ruffling of paper. He scans it before going on. Again, sorry to bother, and I know what I am trying to say will sound strange, but would you happen to own or live in a hotel? Excuse me? Now that's an awfully dumb question, alright? You think I'd be sleeping here if I owned a hotel? Yes, forgive me. I had to make sure. Can't leave any stone unturned. The man gives the notepad another once-over, followed by a sigh as he runs a hand through his hair, slicking it back. When I was passing through the village, I was told you were here looking for a job. I happen to need some help, and can make it worth your while. The Minotaur grinds his teeth while searching for the malice in the stranger's voice. Every word dissected, every movement judged. You must have got the wrong guy. The stranger shifts his weight on his legs. Perhaps he frowns, but the Minotaur can't tell for sure. It's like there's a gaping hole where the man's face should be. No, I'm sure you are exactly who I'm looking for. I was told I can find a... There it is. That same thing in all men and women. The Minotaur tightens his fists and lets his head droop a tad lower, pointing his horns toward the man. A what? A kindred spirit. Someone who can appreciate my situation. Birds of a feather flock together and all that. An itch at the back of his mind grows maddening. The man's voice sounds choppy, or perhaps the Minotaur's ears are failing him. Let me cut to the chase. It'll make a lot more sense if I just show you. The man takes a booklet from his pocket, opens it, and swipes a finger on a page. The itch at the back of the Minotaur's mind dies down, but in turn his vision starts to feel wrong. He keeps staring at the man's blurred, unreadable features. For a moment, they even seem... There, all better now. The sun disappears behind the horizon, and at last the Minotaur can see the creature's face. His heart skips a beat as he leaps upright. What the fuck are you? A man. Or so it seemed to most, but in truth I am just like you. Just different here and there. People call me P. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, mister. Dream, the Minotaur thinks. This has to be a dream. He draws a breath that sticks in his throat. Bile and fire bubble to the top of his stomach. Well, it doesn't matter now for now. Well, it doesn't matter for now. Now that you can see for what I am, let me explain my situation. I'm here in the Hinterlands to deal with a certain family matter. My grandfather, God rest his soul, spent a good deal of his life chasing after a very special place. He called it the Minotaur's Hotel. It's supposed to be around here in this area, but he couldn't ever find it. And yes, as you can see, I'm not really human, am I? Neither was my grandpa, of course. Chances are this hotel I'm looking for is quite the peculiar one too. So I want to prove my dear old man right, and as luck would have it, I heard a story about a Minotaur, of all things here in the valley. That can't be a coincidence, right? So I came here to see with my own eyes, and sure enough, you are looking like the real thing. And let me tell you, finding you was no easy task. The closer I got to this pond, the less sense the roads made. There's something fishy going on here. Even if you have no information about the Minotaur's Hotel, I still have a job for you. I just cannot believe this is a coincidence. Why? A part of me wants to believe the fates conspired to set this in motion. So I want to hire you. I believe you might be able to help me find what I'm looking for. Sound good to you? The last lingering remnants of sleep flee the Minotaur's mind. His hooves scrabble on the dry clay, and his teeth grind together as his heart burns. If this ain't a dream, then I must be cursed, or going mad, or this is a monster trying to trick me. How do I know this ain't some trick? That you aren't the devil or something? Devil? Now that's... Have you ever seen one before? He hasn't. Never in all his years has he witnessed anything like that. Without a shadow of a doubt, broke the veil of mundane life. But he's heard the stories. There's a lot of weird things here. You never know. I see. Well, I can tell you I'm not the devil, but I won't be able to give you much proof on it. I mean, how can someone prove he isn't a devil? I wouldn't know a test to verify it. That said, seeing as you don't seem convinced, I can sweeten our deal a bit. You saw my trick, right? My very own human disguise? With which no one can see what I really am. It's all thanks to this little booklet here. What we call a charm. It sure is difficult not being human, isn't it? Doubly so when you have no way of blending in. Judging from what I heard about you in the village, it seems as if you've never had one of these. On any other night, saying such things to the Minotaur would spark a fight, especially when spoken in such the peacock's tone of blithe condescension. Condescension? Oh my god, I said that word. But not here, not now. The Minotaur gazes at the booklet, and despite the haze of his fear, visions overtake him. To become a man, as soon as the words pierce his thoughts, everything becomes unlatched. Dreams spring forth, a fountain of possibilities he had sealed in a vase and refused to think about. Before you get ideas, I'm sorry to say that taking mine will not do you any good. For most part, they only work for the person they were made for. But that's no issue at all. I can make one for you right here and now. And with that, the Minotaur realizes just why people sell their souls. You're speaking more like a devil, you know that? A stranger comes up. You ain't even human, and now you're talking about this weird stuff. If I ain't dreaming, then he must be a devil. That's clear as day. Not a dream, no sir. And not a devil either. That's far too Christian for my tastes. I'm much more of a, shall we say, old-fashioned kind of guy. Much like you, I imagine. Although I suppose what I have to say won't do much good for my cause. What do you mean? How to put this? Let me speak frankly. I want something from you, and I'm willing to pay for your time. That said, the situation you're in, it's wrong. People like us aren't supposed to walk around showing our true selves. That's the law, and we can be punished for it. You're lucky, in a way. This place is such a hellhole that gossip about you never traveled too far. Or perhaps it's bad luck, seeing as you had gotten help long ago, if you lived somewhere decent. I can make a charm for you, right here and now. By the end of this night, you'll have your very own human disguise. All I want is that you consider taking my offer. I'll pay you to help me find this place, the Minotaur's Hotel. It shouldn't take long. I'll be here for 2 weeks at most. And to sweeten up even further, while we're working together, I'll teach you everything there is to know about, well, not being human. Do we have a deal? Sounds leap from across the pond, grasshoppers and cicadas singing, birds letting out distant cries while returning to their nests. Ripples emerge from the center of the pond itself to dance upon its otherwise placid surface. The concentric waves laze their way to the shore, displacing thin clouds of sediment with their motion. A splashing sound, like a distant sea inside one's head. The Minotaur draws a breath and hunches over. Hummingbirds peck at the back of his head, raising each fur strand one at a time. It's like a dream of stitched-together visions. Going to the grocery store in the village, where all the products have a thin coating of road dust, where people perk their ears to catch his hoof steps. The unending humiliation that comes with purchasing something as simple as a candy bar. Grating his teeth against their stares, ignoring the disgust of him, as if he bore some terrible deformity. Being ignored in turn, best not interact with the cursed. His mind goes back to when he was younger, when he would wear hoodies to cover up his face, panic when his horns got too wide, or to be hidden away. Panic when his horns got too wide to be hidden away. The hummingbirds dig their beaks into his skin. Scan? Oh my god, that is... The hummingbirds dig their beaks into his skin as yet more visions arise. Being out on the streets like any other unassuming passing by. I'm sorry, I was in the zone. Being out on the streets like any other unassuming passerby, out and about without hiding away from fear and hatred. Those who once stared at him, now unaware of his identity. He can make a new name for himself, born anew. This is salvation. And this man, he must be a demon. There must be a catch. Then again, he's damned already. If he wasn't fated for hell from the day he was born, then circumstances sure had left him with no other choice. Any price is worth it to be human, even his soul. You don't have to lie. None of this can be true. And if it is, I know you want something more. I'm still not convinced you ain't a devil, sir, or if there's something else you're after. But even if you are, and you intend on taking my soul, consider this deal taken. I'll do whatever job and whatever else you ask me. Just make me into a human, no matter the cost. You're funny, kid. Very well. Our pact is sealed. Let's not waste any time, eh? Tell me, what's the water like in the pond over there? Salty and dead. Nothing grows there and you'd better not drink it. That won't do then. We need a proper place to do it. I believe I saw a crossroads on my way here. The charm will be stronger if we craft it there. Let's go. And start collecting dry wood on the way. We'll need to make a bonfire. Before we proceed, I'm afraid I didn't catch your name. As I said, you can call me P. P, is that really your name? My family has a peculiar traditions. My dad, grandpa, all the men share a very complicated name. Everyone I know just calls me P. It's easier. The Minotaur can't help but feel excitement stampeding in his chest. For a moment, he allows himself to fall into the fantasy of performing a mysterious ritual with this inscrutable man. His chest swells as he recalls a name he was proud of, and how powerful he felt when people spoke it. Then, you can call me Storm. It's what people used to call me. Storm, very well. Nice to make your acquaintance. Now, before we start, would you mind telling me a bit about yourself? The foal stampeding in his chest grows still and hides in the tall grass. His lips are stretched taut. Storm snorts and looks away. P doesn't raise an eyebrow. He picks the lad apart. Clothes, accent, emotions, in search of a salient point he can exploit. Something vulnerable, but not so sore as to elicit a hostile reaction. You are from around here, right? A harmless enough question for the moody young man. Better than asking about his clothes. What kind of clothes are those? Sailor outfit? I don't know. Sorry. Born and raised here in the Hinterlands. Sorry if that was a bit Irish. My family's Irish. P remains quiet. Silence breeds discomfort from which unwary often fill. What? P remains quiet. Silence breeds discomfort, which the unwary often fill. The Minotaur's heart must be skipping a beat, or perhaps he feels small and vulnerable against the peacock. He snorts, then speaks. But my mom's from the north, near the coast. I see. That's a rough place, isn't it? No rougher than this No rougher than this hellhole. Good for fishing, though. Damn cold waters and windy as a tornado. The peacock's voice comes out monotone, as if he was responding to something the Minotaur revealed without knowing. Yes. A shiver runs up the Minotaur's spine, as if he feels watched by a dozen pairs of eyes. He looks around, but finds no one else here with them. Do you come from a family of fishermen? The fear of being watched loosens the Minotaur's lips. Kinda. My grandpa on my mom's side is one. He looks back again, and nothing. My, brother's fathers are fishermen too. The peacock's gaze grows harsher. Ah, how many brothers do you have? 6? No, sisters. I'm the youngest. Mom didn't want to have any more kids after me. I see. So you're the 7th. Petulance returns in the Minotaur. Does that matter for something? I'm not sure. There's a local legend. The 7th son of the 7th son is born. Special, we say. The folklore says he'll be a werewolf. Any chance your father might have been a 7th son as well? Afraid I can't answer that question. Never met him. I see. Mom always said he was a man. Puzzle pieces drift in the peacock's mind. He speaks without realizing he already wishes to crack the lad to pieces and see every bit of his past. The thought of finding the hotel gives way to the fascination of investigating. Maybe he was, yes. What's that supposed to mean? He might have been a human, yes, and you might just happen to have been born from a Minotaur due to a freak event of nature. It's rare, but can happen. Or he might have been someone like me, carrying a charm to appear human. Maybe your daddy is waiting for you at the Minotaur's hotel I'm looking for. The peacock hopes the Minotaur will take the bait, but his face remains as hard as reed to ever. What? But his face remains as hard as reed. But his face remains as hard to read as ever. Fuck off with that. Answer me this one question, city guy. If there was another fucking Minotaur around these parts, don't you think everyone would know about it? Look, it might sound idiotic, but maybe your granddad was bullshitting and there is no Minotaur hotel or whatever. Well then, does that mean you're rejecting my offer? Then fuck right off. Not so tough now, huh? Look, I said I'd make it worth your while. You'll get paid, no matter what, even if this hotel doesn't exist. You'll get your damn charm tonight, and your money when you're done. But now, let's be honest here for a moment. You see, kid, assuming for a moment your daddy is someone like you and me, I'm doing what he should have done 20 years ago. So here are your options. You can stay here, behave, and I'll teach you all about how to pass off as human. Or you can leave and go back to being homeless. A flash of clarity cuts through the Minotaur's mind as the pecking order is established. Would he grovel and beg? He would, without a second thought. Pathetic. Teach me. I want to be human. That's better, lad. First off, we can't become human. At most, we can pass off as one. That's the first thing. Just so you don't set your expectations too high. What's the difference? Well, you'll still be, you. But others won't notice it. It's exclusively a perception thing. You're carrying a charm around you that makes everyone think you're human. If they touch me, will they figure it out? Depends. If your charm is really, really good, they won't find anything wrong. You'll just have to look like a regular person. You'll feel like a regular person. But that level of quality is usually so expensive. You'll have to spend a lifetime working to pay for it. Or you can work a government job. That'll get you some of the good stuff. Most people can't exactly do that though. So we settle for something more accessible. Nowadays, you can get a good enough effect with a passport. A passport? Is that a fucking joke? No, it's exactly what it sounds like. You get a passport done, and it has to be one of those e-passports with the little chip inside it. And they make a chip into a charm. As long as you always carry your passport with you, that's it. You gotta be fucking kidding me. All this time I could have carried a passport? All the humiliation of a lifetime, a freak in school, a wretch at home, an abomination in the streets, all of it could have been avoided. If only he had a booklet. It is nothing short of an insult. I'm sorry. I can't imagine what you've been through. No, you can't. The peacock braces for another outburst, but the boy breathes in, grits his teeth, shakes, and breathes out. So, we just walk into a... Where do I get a passport done? Just walk in and ask for it? Well, yes, in theory, but it's illegal for us to walk around without a charm. In the first place, you'd get arrested. Then how do I... If the passport is a charm, how can't I get the passport without... Wait, what? But I can't get the passport without a charm. Yes, quite the catch. 22, huh? But don't worry, kid. We're gonna fix it tonight. Right here. They're also homemade charms. They're not nearly as good as the passports, but hey, it'll do the job. Then how good is it? What's the catch? There must be one. I'm not stupid. The catch is that low-quality charms have side effects. The specifics depend on how it was created, which process was used. More often than not, they'll make it hard for people to remember you. Wait, is that the one that Eagle Boy has? Oh my god. Mind you, the passports usually have this problem too, but it's really bad with the homemade ones. Oh, so maybe he just has a better one. I mean, he's a government worker, right? So Eagle Boy has to have a good one. He's in the military. Will people just forget I existed? No, it's more like a homemade charm. People who meet you while you're in disguise will forget they ever saw you in about an hour or two. Has to be. Has to be, right? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like interrupting your immersion. Makes it hard to keep a good job, you know? Or to make friends. Date? Oh, okay. Makes it hard to keep a job, you know? Or to make friends. Date? No. No. That's not a bad thing. It sounds great. I've been treated like shit my whole life. I can't buy groceries without people looking at me like I'm dressed or like I'm diseased or something. I've been remembered my whole life, and I hate it. I hate this. Being forgotten sounds like the best thing in the world to me. Don't care what it would cost. I'd kill for that. Let's do it. Make me a charm, please. Good. Then I'll explain the process. There are many ways one can go about making a charm. In ancient Greece and Rome, it would be involving a sacrificing... Gonna cut that shit. In ancient Greece and Rome, it would involve sacrificing an animal to the gods to imbue its bones with magical properties. The Christians didn't appreciate these pagan rituals. Instead, they made a sacrament through which crosses became charms. Is this lore? I'm sorry. Just a century ago, you need a priest to have a charm made. However, times have changed, and now it's a matter of state. Wait, what? And now it's all a matter for the state. If you know what and who to look for, you can get a government-issued charm, but that usually requires having one with you already. At least two. At least so you can collect it discreetly. So each method can be harder or easier to realize, depending on your circumstances evidently. We don't have a cattle to sacrifice, and I doubt there's a priest nearby who knows the sacrament. There is this traditional Latin American way, however. It requires little in the terms of materials, and what it does, I can readily provide. Is this like a... I'm sorry if I'm doing like a weird accent. I'm just trying to make them distinguished, I guess. I'm sorry. It'll take a while, and the charms it produces are quite particular, however. But that shouldn't be an issue. You'll have to follow my instructions, too. Just say what I gotta do. Whatever it is, I'll do it. Good. It's simple, really. We'll start with a fire, and then We'll tell a story. Good, it's simple really. We'll start a fire, then we'll each tell a story. We'll need to keep weaving more of them together to make your charm have everlasting power. After we finish our stories, I will give you a feather and you'll throw it into a fire alongside whatever you want to be your charm. This is the Latin American way. We tell stories, weave them together in a contract. You'll make an oath with humanity itself, built as an extension of my own, which, that's enough preamble already, kid. Are you ready and on board with this so what the fuck? Are you ready and on board with this so we can start? I'd be an idiot if I wasn't. Glad to hear it. So... You have a firm handshake, kid. So do you for a city boy. Don't provoke me. You have no idea what the city boy's capable of. Sure, then nice grip for an old man. You really are a piece of shit, aren't you? Yeah, get used to it. I know you need me to find your hotel. Okay, I'll let you win this one. Now, should we get started on the charm? Thought you'd never ask. This bird's creepy. The peacock knows that an oath is a tenuous thing, given power by the relation of one thing to another, a complete thought to its dependent clause, a subject to an object, a bird to a minotaur. What inconsequential fluff can reveal... Jesus, guys, I am sorry. I don't read aloud. Like, I can read this in my head. Inconsequential. Wow. What inconsequential fluff can be what inconsequential fluff can reveal to connect with the storm? This boy who holds a secret to his deepest wish under lock and key. An authoritative flick of a wing suffices to get the bull's attention, to make the wheels in the pair's head screech to a grinding halt. He looks happy. Since you'll be working for me, I'll begin the story you need to know. Oh, I'll begin with the one story you need to know. Where to start? The Minotaur looks away to the roads beyond sight. That tells the peacock what he really wants to know. Plenty of weird stuff happens here, but I don't know if it's magic or what. The peacock rolls his eyes. The brat tenses up as though walking on a tightrope and floundering for balance. In that moment, he understands better than ever what it is to be under hierarchy. He knows that he must take care not to offend his new benefactor or risk losing his chance at humanity. Whatever his feelings, he must agree to anything the peacock says. Yeah. This place is supposed to be the last hole where one can find magic in the side of the country. Radio, television, the internet, wherever those go, the weaker the magic becomes. We quite don't know why, but it is what it is. In this place, the Hinterlands, by virtue of how big the shithole it is, kept itself free of all sorts of this progress in basic civilization. Wait, are we in a... Shit, what is it called? I don't know. Like, no electricity or nothing? I forgot. I was there for, Maybe I shouldn't tell about my personal life. Oh, sorry. I didn't hope to offend you for... Nah, I hate it here. People always treat me like shit. There's no jobs except for mine and salt, and they won't take me even for that. Nothing to do, nothing to see, nothing worth saving in this hole. The peacock smiles through the curvature of his beak. Storm's tacit admission stirs the breeze in his lungs until it emerges as his billowing, prideful snort. I'm glad we agree with each other. Our story begins 80 or so years ago. I suppose it was a night much like this one, when someone much like me, that's my grandfather, ran away from this place. He lived most of his life here, and I don't know the details, but things went south and he found himself running for his life. He ran as far as he could, and spent 3 days in the wilderness, hiding during the day and trekking towards the coastline during the night. On the 4th night, he met a traveler who gave him food and water. Nice man, I imagine. Sees someone running away and doesn't ask any questions, just offers help. Might have known he was better off not knowing. The wanderer, however, knew how to read the stars and gave Grandpa a few words of advice. Go northwest. You'll be safe here. Yeah. But Grandpa didn't follow his advice. He heard stampeding horses from that direction, so he went to the east. There he found a bus station. It was the middle of the night, and there was no one there. He checked the schedule. Oh, perhaps a bus would come and take him northwest. Not 5 minutes later, one showed up. The driver was a creature disguised as human. He didn't speak Portuguese, and his clothes had a strange lettering. Grandpa boarded, they set off eastward, and he was taken to a strange place called the Minotaur's Hotel. He told me it was created before the Tower of Babel was destroyed, that a fragment of its old human magic survived there, making it so all could understand each other regardless of language. The place was governed by a Minotaur who had the power to make diamonds appear in the palm of his hand. No one went hungry there. Even the most wretched person could find a home and a job. But as you can guess, something happened. Grandpa came back home all messed up one day, and then set off to find that hotel again. But he never did. Spent years searching, went back to his job, met his wife and his kid, but never stopped going out for days at a time to try and find this place. Pa thinks he was crazy, that this hotel never existed. Grandma's still around and still resents every night Grandpa sent on the search. As for Gramps, it's been a few weeks since he passed on. I'd like to say he told me this story again on his deathbed and asked me to find it. That hotel. Now wouldn't that be grand? But that would be a lie. A sweet one, but a lie nonetheless. I wasn't there when he died, and by that time his mind had been gone for a long while. I like to think he felt some freedom when his time came. But I suppose one can never be freed without passing on a burden to another. Now that he's gone, that old wanderlust has taken me over. I want to find the hotel, clear my grandpa's name, prove he was right all along. As a resolute look plays across the avian's features, as if there was a vulnerability in his speech. It's been thrice folded and stashed in the corner of his mind. From where he stands, Storm can't help but notice how put together and proper everything is about the peacock. Plus, there's something over there that is mine. My inheritance, you could call it. I've been having dreams about this place ever since Gramps passed on. I'm sure everything he has and said was true. Now it's your turn. Tell me a story. The Minotaur's eyes grow as thin as knives. Do I really have to? No story, no charm, no human. No story, no charm, no human. What if I could come up with something? Does it have to be true? Sure, go ahead. Waste our damn time. That was an accident. I'm not doing this again, however. The Minotaur looks away, this time towards the pond and his hole. He knows there is no choice, but he can't speak. Not while the hummingbirds are pecking away at the back of his head, raising each strand of fur. He scratches his neck with both hands, digging in to make the skin red and raw, but the peacock ignores it. His patience grows thin. "Will you really force me to interrogate you, lad?" The Minotaur shakes his head, trying to swat away all the critters flying around him. A grave moo escapes from his throat. "How old are you?" 21. "Just give me a minute, I'm thinking, okay?" The peacock counts the seconds while the Minotaur loses sense of time. He keeps on scratching until whatever ailed him is gone. He draws a breath, shudders, and speaks. "Mom said my father was a man. I didn't get to know him, but she was always made it clear. So don't get the wrong idea." Again, no way, it was a bull. That makes no sense, and if he was someone like me, he'd have given you a charm. Unless something happened to him, or he doesn't know you exist. The Minotaur doesn't like the sharpness in the bird's voice, shrill and teetering on the edge of anger. But he breathes the first sigh of true relief in his first life. What the heck, first life? But he breathes in the first sigh of a true relief in his life, knowing that there is someone in this world who doesn't think he's a product of bestiality. Perhaps there's a wetness in the Minotaur's eyes, glimmering in the fire, but the sharp-eyed peacock mistakes it for something else. "Sorry for interrupting. Continue." "Well, yeah, what I was saying. You didn't know your dad. Mom raised you, I assume." "Yeah, raised me and my 6 siblings. I'm the youngest one, and well, she couldn't have it anymore after, I got out." "Ruined, is what she said. You ruined me." Not a drop of anger in her voice, although her face was covered in 2 decades worth of humiliation. She blew smoke on his face, ground the cigarette butts on the plastic dining room table, and threw it in the empty fruit bowl. Just stating a plain fact, inescapable. You shouldn't have been born. Never got along with her, or any of my siblings for that matter. They blame me for stuff I didn't do. It became simply, though, blaming him for breaking their one glass cup, the orange one that Ma used to drink coffee. He was 4 years old. Like an addiction, it took root and grew. If something went missing from the fridge, it was him. Or if any misfortune struck, as if his existence was bringing bad luck, they'd point at his horns and refuse to say his name. Just him, nameless. More of a concept than a person, eyes wide open and mind silent, numb, as it kept on happening. It became their drug, the reason why they couldn't get jobs and had to live off on welfare. Being angry at him was enough to justify beating their girlfriends or abandoning their kids and skipping town. His name was so unused it might as well not exist. Storm was a better title, and so the lad gathers his memories and pains the mind onto itself. Everyone brought things about my ma. Everyone thought things about my ma. About what she must have done to a kid like me. Even looking at me made her cry. School treated me like shit too. So I dropped out and ran away. Thought I could make a living out here in the city or on a farm. It didn't last long. The farm owner could appreciate his strength and hard work, but the farm hands weren't too fond of sharing their living quarters with him. Better to quit the job than get butchered halfway through the night, he thought. But I came back. Couldn't find any luck. People here at least don't panic when they see me. Too out of their damn minds to care. tried going back home to Ma. She let me in, but then she'd wake me up in the middle of the night to yell. Too out of her damn mind to know what she was doing. So I tried going out again, didn't work either. Made it farther, but the police started getting curious about the horned homeless man under the bridge. That's why I live here, in my pond. By the pond. It's safe. No one bothers me at night. I can get the gigs here and there. I can get gigs here and there to buy food. That's my story. Is that enough for your ritual? A shiver crawls up the peacock's back. The air around them grows sharper. A migraine slithers over his head and burrows itself into his left eye. His legs go numb, and his brain finds itself forgetting words. The Minotaur, meanwhile, looks away from the fire, the light searing his eyes. The hummingbirds peck at his neck again, while chanting cicadas take over his hearing. He's about to ask for help, when a flash, it's all over. Yes, this is enough. Let's see. Now a feather. This one's about to fall off. I'll say the oath, now just accept it. The peacock closes his eyes. His feathers stand on end as if a shiver runs up his spine. You are the salt of the earth, eternal and unrelenting. Why, then, should you not be our sibling? You are the night's moon, a city buried in ash. A secret written on your chest cannot be seen. You are the salt of the earth, and with it, and what is humanity without you? Hidden, you shall not lose your worth. You'll not be trampled underfoot. You shall not die again. Blessed are you when you become our sibling. By the gift of humanity, none shall persecute you. Neither will they accuse you of being Neither will they accuse you of unsightly deeds. You are the light of the world, hidden from the sight and shining regardless. They'll not see your origin, but will bask in your gift. You'll not be set apart, and glory will follow your footsteps. By salt and sea, take my life thread. Let us swear an oath of kinship. May humanity afford the bearer of this promised protection in its bosom, much like we have tonight, swapped our long-lasting threads. You shall feast and live as one of our own, bearer of kinship, and for as long as you carry the proof of this oath, none shall see your myth. By salt and sea, by the western lands, untie my bundle of humanity, and stretch its thread to this one so he may enjoy our freedom no lesser than mine. Bearer of humanity, do you pledge the honest oath to mankind, for as long as your chest draws breath? This must be a dream, the Minotaur thinks, or a demon at work. And just what could be the inevitable catch? A gift like this does not come without a gut-wrenching price. But none of it matters. Consequences be damned. He will take it. I do. Throw the fetter and your object on the flame. My gift will burn, so yours shall not. The hybrid takes out his ear gauge, puts the feather through it, and pushes both into the fire. Dang, must be hot. There, try it on. Welcome to our first night as a human, Storm. Hi guys. Okay, hi guys. This is where I'll be ending off the video for today. If you liked it, leave a like. And if you didn't like it, I guess don't leave a like. But thank you all for listening. It's kind of happy seeing y'all like this stuff. Or some of y'all like this stuff. I'm trying to upgrade my stuff, so please be patient. Besides all that, sorry for the, what's it called? The huge delays between videos. If I had finals like these last 2 weeks, it was really tough. I'm pretty sure I might have failed my math final, but it's all behind me now. Bye everyone. Love you all. See you later.